Okay, boys and girls, we're going to look at the poem Dog by Valerie Worth. And we're going to be focusing on these three techniques that many writers use to be descriptive, especially poets. So the first one that we're looking at is adjectives. So I'm going to go along while I read the poem and I'm going to be finding all of the adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe a person, a place, or a thing. So again, let's take a look as we read. Under a maple tree, the dog lies down. So first I'm going to stop. I'm going to highlight or circle the word maple because it's describing what type of tree it is. So it's describing a thing. The dog lies down, lolls his limp, tongue yawns, rests his long chin. So long would describe the word chin. Carefully between front paws. It's telling what kind of paws. It's his front paws. And how he's doing it, which would be carefully. Looks up alert. Chops with heavy jaws. So heavy is describing the type of jaw. At a slow fly, describing the type of fly. Blinks, rolls on his side. Sighs, closes his eyes. Sleeps all afternoon in his loose skin. So again, I highlighted all of my adjectives there in yellow. So now we're going to go to red and we're going to be looking at verbs. So verbs are an action and there's a lot of strong verbs in this poem that help us understand exactly what the dog is doing and helps with that imagery inside of our mind. So let's take a look. Under a maple tree, the dog lies down. Actually, I'm going to underline for my verbs to make it easier to see. Lolls his limp. I'm going to underline lolls. And if you didn't know what lolls meant, you could always look it up or you can use context clues. So I know that he is lying down and he has a limp. So it means that pretty much that you're laying down and just kind of like being lackadaisical or a little lazy. Lolls his limp tongue. Oh, I'm going to go back for a minute. I forgot before. Limp is describing what kind of tongue. So limp means it doesn't really move very well, right? So in my mind already, I'm picturing an image of this dog and he's lying down. Sounds like he's a little older. Lolls, back to our verbs. Lolls his limp tongue, yawns, that's an action. Rests his long chin carefully between his front paws. Looks up, alert. Chops with heavy jaws. At a slow fly. Blinks, rolls on his side. Sighs, closes his eyes, sleeps all afternoon in his loose skin. Now looking at some imagery. Well, most of the poem is going to be giving us quite a bit of imagery while we're reading. So I'm just going to be writing some things on the side of things that I'm thinking of or even inferences that I'm making because we know poems don't have a lot of words. So they actually make us come up with those images and ideas in our mind and start using inferencing based on our own life experiences. So first I know that the dog is lying under a maple tree. So that's my first, um, image that I'm seeing. I'm going to just draw a little stick figure dog here. Okay. And I know that he's lying down and he's underneath a tree. Okay. So that's my first image that pops inside of my mind. Lolls, I know again that he's laying lazily. He definitely has a limp tongue. Maybe his tongue is out. He starts to yawn. He rests his long chin carefully between his front paws. Kind of reminds me of Tootsie and how Tootsie lays down. So typically, I know that when Tootsie lays down, the inference that I can make from this is that she's super relaxed. Her, front paws are together. It's a little hard to read. Hold on. Okay, so I know my handwriting is a little messy on here. It's not so easy to write on my screen. Okay, but down here it says again that he was resting his long chin carefully between his front paws. So I could see that image in my mind, and I also again know that he's very relaxed if he's doing this. Then it talks about a fly coming, and he starts to chop and slowly looks at the fly. So it's showing that he's interested. The fly interests him, but not for very long because we know that then he turns on his side and he sighs and he closes his eyes and sleeps all afternoon. So again, I'm thinking in my mind or I'm making an inference that he is a little bit older. He's definitely more relaxed. And like most dogs do, they sleep most of the afternoon. But those words, especially that adjective loose skin, and that he's lolling